Hello friends and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Megan Young. I am a recreational therapist and I'm also the creator of the blog Growth Reflow. Friends, 2020 has been a challenging year to say the least. And maybe some of those goals that you set way back in January when life was a little bit easier have fallen by the wayside. If they have, it's totally understandable and totally okay. Maybe you're in a place right now where you're feeling like you want to restart some of those goals that you had previously set for yourself and you're looking for a little bit of motivation to get started. Achievement is a super important part of our lives because of the sense of pride and of happiness and of joy we feel when we reach some of those goals that we've set for ourselves. So if you're in a place like that and you're looking for a little bit of motivation to get restarted, make sure you watch this video because I'm going to talk about 6 ways that you can tap into motivation, especially when life is hard. So before we get going, make sure that you tap that little bell so that you're the first to know when a new video goes up. And if you like the content, make sure you give it a thumbs up so that more eyes can see it. Without waiting any longer, let's get into the good stuff. Tip number 1 is to make sure the goal is actually yours. Have you ever been working towards a goal or doing something and you're not really sure why you even started it in the first place? Maybe it was your parents that kind of pushed you in that direction, or a friend, or a professor, or a manager that had kind of put the goal on you, but you're not even really sure if it's something you want to be working towards. It's really important when we're talking about motivation that you feel internally drawn to do it. So we're going to talk about 2 types of motivation. The first one being intrinsic motivation. And like I was saying before, that's when you're internally drawn to do something, meaning that you don't need to do it for any other reason than the fact that you want to do it yourself. So for instance, I like to run, and the reason that I like to run is because I know that it makes me feel happy and that I'm calm and that I'm focused afterwards. So I'm internally motivated to go for a run. External motivation is the opposite. That means that there's some sort of external force that's kind of pushing you or guiding you to work towards or achieve that goal. So for instance, it might be your parents who want you to pursue a certain degree. Or maybe it's a friend who is going on this diet and she thinks you guys should do it together and you don't really want to do it, but your friend wants to do it, so you're gonna do it with her. It's important to know the 2 types of motivation because although both are important, when you're choosing goals and you're really trying to kickstart yourself back into feeling motivated, make sure you pick a goal that actually aligns with something that you want to accomplish. Tip number 2 is hack your dopamine. So dopamine is part of the neurotransmitter team that's responsible for things like planning, learning, and motivation. Dopamine is released when we're expecting a reward. So why not hack that system and find ways that you can release more dopamine, keeping you on that motivation train a little while longer? There are a few ways that you can practically do this. One way is to use checklists. So maybe you write down all the steps that you need to achieve in order to get to your goal. And as you make your way down your list, you're gonna see the visual cue of the little check mark showing you that you are getting closer and closer every day. Another way to do this is to share your personal accomplishments. So maybe you have friends, family, or a supportive online group that you can tell about what you've done as you're working your way towards the goal. That external validation for your work might be that boost and reward that you need in order to keep you feeling motivated. My favorite way is a thing called milestone rewards. So let's take, for example, you are training for a 5K and you've decided that every time that you're able to consistently run 1 kilometer, you're gonna reward yourself. And so maybe at 1 kilometer, you're gonna go buy that new t-shirt that you wanted. Maybe at 2 kilometers, you're gonna treat yourself to that new donut shop that just opened up. Every time that you hit a new milestone, you reward yourself. Again, helping to release that dopamine, keeping you on that motivation train. Tip number 3, watch your words. Your words have power, a lot of power. Our brains are very intuitive, so the words you speak and think can greatly impact your motivation. If you're thinking and speaking about your goals in a way that doesn't feel good, like you want to do it, you're not going to inspire motivation or desire for change. Some words to watch out for are things like, I should do that. I would do that, but maybe not. I could do that, but I could also not do that. See how those are all kind of wishy-washy, negative framings? Other words you can try and use more often are things like, I will do that, I can do that, I am going to do that. Let's take, for example, saying something like, I should go to the gym tonight, or I have to go to the gym tonight. What you're telling your mind is that there is an external force that is making you go to the gym tonight. And it might bring up feelings of dread, or that you really don't want to do it because you don't have any choice or autonomy over the situation. If instead you changed up your words and you said something like, I'm excited to go to the gym tonight, or I am happy to go try out this new workout class. Even if you don't exactly feel it, what you're doing is you're telling your brain that you are excited, that you have a desire to do this, and that it is your choice. See how your words have power? Tip number 4 is break your goals down into bite-sized pieces. Sometimes when we set a goal, it can seem so big and we can feel so overwhelmed that we don't actually know where to start. So what we need to do in order to get started on our goal is to break it down into the small action steps you can do to take yourself one step closer every day. For instance, when I was starting this YouTube channel, I had it as a goal for a very, very long time. Needless to say, I procrastinated for a bit. What I decided to do one day was to break down all of the steps that I needed to do in order to feel like I was ready to start a YouTube channel. For instance, I set a day where I just looked up video editing software, and another day where I practiced talking to a camera and speaking to myself. These are things that as I was doing them, I was feeling more comfortable and confident in order for me to actually be brave enough to start a YouTube channel. So whatever goal you're working towards, break it down into bite-sized doable pieces and then start ticking off one at a time. Tip number 5 is to visualize your goals. So if motivation is an emotional state, then one of the best ways that you can hack into it is by visualizing your goal as if you have already achieved it. Maybe you're trying to save money to go on a trip, so really sit and think about how relaxed and happy you're going to be laying on that beach in that beautiful destination. When we're able to sit in the feeling, what emotion we're going to have once we finally reach that goal, then we're going to tap into our motivation, which will hopefully come around and pursue us to start doing the things we need to do in order to achieve it. Some practical ways you can do this are to start a dream or goal setting journal where you write down on a consistent basis some of the goals that you're working towards. Another way is to start a vision board where you get some visual representations of your goals that you can look at on a regular basis. Tip number 6, surround yourself with people that support you. The people that don't support you don't necessarily, they're not trying to take you down, but maybe they're trying to protect you, or they just don't understand why you're doing what you're doing, which is fine. You know yourself, you know what you're working towards, and if you feel really good about it, then you need to follow that calling. I can speak to this in my personal life. When I was deciding to move away from my career and go to a new country, I had quite a few people tell me not to do it, which totally affected how I felt about the choice. But I knew at the end of the day that it was something that I wanted to do and I was willing to take the risk, so I chose to do it anyways. Being very clear about who you want to tell your goals to and who you're not going to tell your goals to will help you out tremendously on the journey. And if you don't have people in your life that you feel comfortable sharing your goals with, then you can always turn to things like podcasts, YouTube channels, books, where you find like-minded people that you can learn from on your journey until you get some of those supportive relationships in your life. All right, friends, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Comment in the comment section below any goals that you're working towards. I would love to know about them. Until next time, bye guys. See ya. Tip number 5 is visualize your goals. I'm looking in the wrong place. All right, we're gonna try this again. Oh, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Oh, so close, Meagan.